In this video, I will show you the best way to plan your trip. Whether you're planning your first solo trip or you're traveling in a group or you want to just figure out how to budget for your next trip, well, this video is for you. Watch this all the way to the end and you will know how to plan for your next trip like a pro. Let's get right into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Just Go with Amreen. Last week I showed you all the best apps that you can use to travel in 2022. In this video I'm going to lay down 6 steps that will help you plan your next trip like a pro. So first things first is figure out what's your budget. What I mean by that, you don't need to have a specific number, but you do need to have an understanding whether you want to do a budget-friendly backpacking sort of a hostel living trip, or do you want to do an ultra luxurious Maldives over the water bungalow types place. What will happen is once you've decided the sort of a budget that you have in mind, you can list out all the countries that may be of interest to you. Now when you have a ballpark idea of what you want to spend and where you want to go and you've zeroed down on a destination, the first thing you can do is go and figure out how much do the flights cost. Now for that, my favorite app or my favorite website is Skyscanner. I briefly walked you through this app in my previous video, but now I will show you in depth of what exactly I like about this website and how you can find the best budget deals to book your flights through this website.
So when you're looking for flights on any website, make sure you do it in an incognito mode on your browser, just so you avoid the cookies tracking you and all that. I don't know how cookies work exactly, but they do track you, and the more often you look for a ticket on the same laptop or browser, the higher the price goes. So incognito mode, and then you open Skyscanner, plug in the dates, plug in the destination, and then once all the tickets show up, go to show the whole month. This way you'll be able to see the different prices on different dates, so that you can pick the cheapest possible price on a particular date. This is only if you are flexible with your dates. Of course, if you have rigid dates, this doesn't apply to you. Once you've done that, you find flights, and then it researches and gives you the best option. So after that's done and you go ahead and try to book it, I have to specify that the initial price that you see on Skyscanner is not the final price. The initial cost was 2030 AED for Dubai to Belgrade, but when I try to book it through the airline Fly Dubai directly, it already goes up to 2090. Actually, when you want to book it, you go to the site of Fly Dubai, which you are redirected from Skyscanner itself, and then you pick and choose which option suits you best. And now the price has gone up from 2030 to 2091 and then eventually 2187 AED. Another super cool feature I love about Skyscanner is that if you don't know where you're going but you know your dates, then you can just go to can't decide where or everywhere, and it gives you a list of destinations starting from the cheapest place to the most expensive one, and then you can choose where you want to go based on its pricing and your liking.
Now that I have booked my flights, I have a start and end date. After that, I would like to straight away deep dive into itinerary planning. Now for that, there is some extensive research that needs to be done. There are a bunch of things that you can do when it comes to researching as to what you want to see. There are blog posts of other travelers that you can go over. They give you some detailed information about where to go, what to see, where to eat, where to stay. Also, the best part about these blogs is that sometimes these travelers actually head to some hidden gems that are not available on any touristy websites or TripAdvisor or anything. You will only see them in these blog posts. So don't miss that out. This is my #1 tip to research your itinerary. Head to previous travel bloggers who've been to that city or that country and read as many articles as you can and see what is the best that you can do and what interests you, and start making a list of all that stuff. Another thing that you can do to research once you have an idea of the areas that you want to cover, the cities that you want to see, is probably head to Instagram or Pinterest and see the kind of photos that represent that city. For example, when I was heading to Serbia, I was going to this place called Zlatibor, or Western Serbia in general. When I Googled that on Pinterest or on Instagram, because I would like to see the place before I plan to go to that place. It needs to be visually appealing to me. In the beginning, what you're doing is just making a very long list of places of interest, of places that you want to take pictures in, places that you want to go visit, restaurants you want to go eat, the food that they are well known for, all that kind of stuff. It's just a big list of places and things that you want to do. Some other resources that you can use to continue this research even more in depth is TripAdvisor and Culture Trip. Culture Trip is also a place where basically bloggers leave articles and list of best restaurants where you can have breakfast, where you can have lunch, best cafes in Belgrade, for example, best wineries in Yerevan, Armenia, etc. TripAdvisor is great if you want reviews of the tour company that you're going to use, of the tours that you're going to take, of the hotel you're going to live in, and so on and so forth. Another personal tip that I can give you in terms of planning your itinerary, which I have recently started doing, and I did that extensively for Serbia, ask your audience if anybody has visited that city or country. For example, when I was traveling to Serbia, I asked my audience on Instagram whether anybody's been there, and the couple of people that did respond saying that they had visited Serbia, I got to talking to them and asking them what their experience was it safe for a solo female traveler to go there, and what did they see, what was out of the box, what was the hidden gem, what was unique, what was their experience, and things like that. There's nothing better than getting information from someone who has experienced the country or the city firsthand. Another thing that I practice when it comes to researching and planning out my itinerary is I get in touch with local tour companies rather than going through a tour company based in Dubai, for example, because there are several tour companies based here as well that will create an entire itinerary for you whenever you're traveling, wherever you're traveling. But I reach out to local travel companies, local tour companies, and speak to the guides myself. They will give you some information that is not available anywhere online. So that's the best part. And apart from probably planning out certain tours that you take with them, you can also ask them for other information as to where you can find the best sushi, for example, or where can you buy the most authentic honey if you're into that kind of thing. My husband is. So, that sort of a thing. So these are people who live there, who are running tour companies there and tours. So they will have more information and better information that they can guide you with on whatever it is that you're looking for when you visit this country. Once you have your places of interest and the cities that you want to visit and all of that in place, you want to probably decide the number of days you will be spending in each of those cities. It's okay if you are a kind of person who wants to just go and chill at a beach, or you're a city person and you just want to walk around and enjoy the nightlife and have some sushi, hit the wine bars and just chill in the pub. That's cool. Then you don't need to extensively plan your travel as much. But if you are anything like me who cannot stay in one place for more than 3 days and you want to constantly keep moving and exploring and experiencing things, then what I suggest is that you figure out the number of days you're going to spend in each location. Once you have those dates and days in place, you go to the next step, which is booking your accommodation. When it comes to accommodations, there is this one website that I have been using and I can recommend that 100%, and it is booking.com. You will find everything from hostels to apartments to luxurious hotels, or even 3-star, 4-star hotels, luxurious 5-star resorts, everything under that one roof, booking.com. I use booking.com to book anything and any type of accommodation. Now, I like to stay in an apartment as opposed to a hotel for 2 reasons. One, it is cheaper than hotels, and second, they are not just cheaper but even much larger in size than a hotel room. When I went to Serbia, I was in a hotel for the first 3 nights and it was like a teaspoon. I walked in and it was over. I was like, where's the rest of it? And the 3rd or the 4th night, I moved myself to a 1-bedroom apartment, and wow, I felt like I had space to move and dance and do whatever it is that I wanted to do. Plus, I have the luxury of cooking my meals. For example, breakfast. I would rather spend my money on experiences than eating breakfast or eggs outside. One thing that I will advise is, especially if you are planning your first solo trip, I made sure that I lived in a place which was close to the main streets or the hustling, bustling, busy streets, streets that are well lit. Now that we have our flights booked, our accommodations sorted, and a rough itinerary of what we're going to do, we can deep dive into the budget now. I have created this amazing budget calculator, this budgeting tool. If you're anything like me and you like to have everything organized on your screen and not on your little screen on your phone, then I have this designed for Excel users. And I know if Excel intimidates you like it intimidates me, it's very easy to use. I'll show you how you can use this tool.
Before we head to the budgeting calculator tool, I wanted to show you how you can actually figure out how much it is going to cost. So there's this website called Budget Your Trip, and it gives you an overall general idea of how much it will cost to go to a particular place. So if you went to Belgrade for 2 weeks for 2 people, it would cost approximately $1,100. And after that, if you want to be a little more specific, if you want to deep dive into how much each meal might cost, there is another website called Numbeo. It is a cost of living estimator. Basically, you can go and type in the capital city of the country you're visiting, and it will give you a whole list of how much approximately each meal could cost in a mid-range restaurant, inexpensive restaurant, in a fast food joint, how much cappuccino will cost, water will cost, if you rent a car, if you get a monthly pass, if you get a taxi, everything. It will give you more in depth. Once you have that idea, so you have a ballpark of how much everything will cost, then this is the budget tool. So since I use this calculator on a regular basis, not daily basis, I like to put the name of the country I'm visiting. After that, I plug in the overall budget. This is for one person, by the way, and this is hypothetical, of course. After that, I plug in all the different fares like airfare. If I am planning to take a taxi or bus, I just give it a certain budget based on how much generally things cost, and then I just create like an approximate hypothetical number, and I plug them in for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, the activities and the tickets that may cost. And after I plug all that in, whatever is left, which is the bigger room, and in this case it is about $600. I keep about $400 or $500, depends how much you want to shop, for shopping, and the rest you can pretty much bring back. So here's where you can get an understanding of where your money is being spent. But if you want to make it a little more specific and you want to actually put in numbers for the cost that you incur per day, you can do that on the second tab as well. I never use this honestly, but if someone is super detailed, you can. The third tab is in case you are looking for help on how to use this budgeting tool. That's where you go.
This is the best budgeting tool for your travel that you can use. So in case you're interested in getting your hands on this tool, there is a link to it in the description box. Please go ahead and feel free to download it. It's absolutely free. So another thing that was extremely important for me when I was deciding where to travel solo to, it was very important for me that the country was well connected via public transportation. So you want to figure out what sort of transportation that you'll be using, whether it is well connected through metro, bus, whether you're going to be taking tours to everything that you see. Are you taking cabs or taxis? The best thing to do is either download Yandex.Go or Move It or Uber. Basically what I'm trying to say is wherever you're planning to go, if you are planning to do a lot of traveling through taxis, cabs, etc., it's best to figure out what's the best way and what app you should download prior to visiting that city or that country so that you don't get scammed, because this is the most common scam that you will come across anywhere. My last and final tip to plan for an international trip is Google Maps. Google Maps is your best friend. Whether you're renting a car or you're on foot or you are taking public transportations, you need to know how to get to the bus stop or the metro station to even take it. So what I use Google Maps for is to mark every landmark that I'm planning to visit, and then I figure out in which area of the city are most of these restaurants slash cafes slash landmarks, and I'll figure out this is where I'll be hanging out most of the time when I'm staying in the city. So clearly I'm supposed to book an accommodation close to these landmarks or these areas that I will be spending most of my time in. Finally, I take all this information, which is a lot of it, and I put it on my Google Docs. I put all the important information on this document, like my flight details, my flight number, my airlines, and what else? I also put in information about my hotels, all the links to it. I also put the number of the tour guide that may be picking me up for different experiences and tours. So everything, I consolidate everything and organize it day-wise in this document. I don't overload it with information because I want to be able to just open it and see where I'm supposed to go and what I'm supposed to do on that particular day. Alright then, so that's pretty much everything that I do, and I have tried to pack all that information in this one video. I hope I didn't overwhelm you with the information. If I have missed out on anything and there's something that you do that I don't or I've forgotten to mention, please feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you and how it is that you plan your international trips. That is all from me. If you like this vlog, you know what to do. Give me a big fat thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, bye guys. Cheers. Hello everyone and welcome. Last week I showed you what? Patience. Am I going there? No. That was a lot of information. Going to the next stop.